I took a look at the 5 pillars of Islam. While studying some more about Islam, I came across a section about the 5 pillars of Islam, and I thought that might be a good section to make a video about, to share with others who may not know much about Islam, and to just kind of discuss a little bit from an outsider's perspective. Now, before I jump into this video, I do want to make note about the last video I made, the 3 misconceptions video involving me reading the Quran. Now, there were a bunch of comments in that video, and I greatly appreciate it, where people were giving me some criticism or correction for some of the things I said or how I worded things during the video. So, thank you for the respectful comments and the respectful criticisms correcting me where I said things wrong or could have worded things better. So, for instance, I said that Muhammad wrote the Quran, which everyone made sure I knew that wasn't correct, that he actually memorized it and recited it, and according to the belief in Islam, that Allah revealed it to Muhammad, and so he never actually wrote it because he was illiterate. So, thank you for making that clear. That was a poor word choice on my end, and I should have used a different word. And in regard to the hadiths, I threw out the word commentary when I should have just stopped at when I talked about how the hadiths were recordings of the life of the Prophet and how he lived. So I should have kept it at that instead of throwing in the word commentary, which a lot of people got hung up on then. So thank you for the comments, and thank you for correcting me where I said things wrong or could have said things better and more clearly. And this is what I want this channel to be. I want this channel to be full of diverse people from diverse different backgrounds, learning about each other's faiths, learning about different religions, and learning about how people see the world across different cultures, and so we can come together and create a healthy community and actually talk about the tough things of life that people don't often talk about when they should. So thank you, and let's continue to have good discussion and comments going on in the comment section below. And now, jumping into this video, I did my due diligence to study this one even further and trying to be as accurate as possible, and we'll see how it goes. So continue to leave comments down below, helping me to grow and helping others to grow in our understanding of each other. So let's jump into it. So the 5 pillars of Islam. These are, by what I can best tell, the 5 main tenets that every Muslim needs to abide by, and most Muslims do abide by to consider themselves Muslims. So pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 is, by what I can tell, the most crucial and the most foundational of all the pillars, because it is the testimony. There's an Arabic word for pillar number 1, but not to avoid looking foolish and saying something wrong, I'm just not going to try to say it at all. But we'll jump into it in the English. So it is the testimony or the profession of faith. So in order to be considered a Muslim, one must profess that Allah is God and that He is one. He is one God, and also to profess that Muhammad is a prophet of God, and by what I can best tell, the final prophet of Allah. These things must be professed in order to be considered a Muslim, and this is really the beginning of the journey. And so that is one of the most foundational pillars of Islam, to believe and profess that Allah is God and Muhammad is his prophet. So that is pillar number 1. Now, pillar number 2. Pillar number 2 is prayer. Prayer is essential to Muslims, it is essential to the Islamic faith, and it's very, very important. So Muslims will pray 5 times a day, traditionally facing Mecca, in order to honor Allah. Muslims will pray at sunrise, shortly after noon, mid-afternoon, after sundown, and after nightfall. And by what I can best understand and tell, if a Muslim lives in some sort of Islamic community or state, there will be someone who's learned and well read in the Quran who will lead these prayers at these different times. However, if a Muslim would live, let's say, in the United States, where that wouldn't be happening, they're still able to just take a break from the day and pray towards Mecca. And so this will happen normally 5 times a day, and it is to honor Allah. That is pillar number 2, prayer. Now, pillar number 3. Pillar number 3 is alms and giving. Charity is very, very crucial and important to Muslims. The charity and generosity is a big part of their religion. And Muslims are expected to give at least, depending on class and income, but at least 2.5% of their capital. Now, this doesn't necessarily include all capital. By what I could best tell, there's certain things that aren't included in this calculation, but they are expected to give 2.5% of their assets annually. And this is generally given to people in need or people who are in need of the money. Now, even though there is mandatory charity involved in the Islamic faith, there's also, it's highly encouraged that Muslims be generous and give out of just the kindness of their heart, and to give more than just 2.5%. It is recommended and is good to do so. So charity is a fundamental part of the Islamic faith, and that is pillar number 3. Jumping into pillar number 4. The fast, or Ramadan. During the month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Muslim lunar calendar, the Muslims are expected to be fasting over this time period from dawn until sundown, abstaining from food, drink, and other items. In some cases, I read also abstaining from sex, although I do not know for sure if that's 100% true. There are some exceptions, though, in this case, depending on if someone's ill and sick and needs nourishment and needs treatment, or if someone's pregnant and there's other conflicting factors in there. So there are some discrepancies in place during Ramadan that people may not fast or may not follow the rules, but if healthy and if able, Ramadan, you are expected to partake in the fast. And a lot of prayer will take place during this time, and there's a lot of just reflecting on Allah and the Quran and the other tenets of the faith. And so Ramadan is a big part of the Muslim tradition. So that is pillar number 4. Now the final pillar the pilgrimage, which a lot of people know about, but they don't really know necessarily what happens. All they know is that Muslims are expected to go to Mecca at least once in their lifetime. And now, you're only expected to do this if you have the physical and financial ability to do so. And so the 5th pillar, not every Muslim is able to do so and doesn't always get to go to Mecca. But if capable, you are expected to do that at least once in your life. And so the Hajj, or when most Muslims go to the Mecca, happens on the 12th month of the Muslim lunar calendar. And I'm pulling an excerpt directly from a source I read to show what they kind of do when they get to Mecca. Anyone in the comments can correct me if this excerpt I'm reading from is not correct. So here is what the excerpt has to say. The rites of the Hajj, which are Abrahamic origin, include going around the Kaaba 7 times, and going 7 times between the hills of Safa and Marwa, as did Hagar, Hajira, Abraham's wife, during her search for water. The pilgrims later stand together on the wide plains of Arafat, a large expanse of desert outside Mecca, and join in prayer for God's forgiveness in what is often thought as the preview of the Day of Judgment. And so this is just some example of what happens when Muslims go visit Mecca or take part in the Hajj. So that is point number 5, the pilgrimage. So those are the 5 fundamental pillars that most Muslims all abide by. In certain groups, there's 6 that I could see, and I think the 6th one is holy war for some. But most Muslims agree upon the 5. Not all will agree upon the 6th. That is the fundamentals of Islam. And if you enjoyed what you saw, and if you like what you see, definitely subscribe and follow along and continue to learn more about other religions and to see me visit other religions and talk to people from different faith backgrounds and continue to build up this community of people wanting to learn about each other and coming together as communities to better understand one another and to share our faiths with each other. So continue to join along and subscribe. Continue to leave comments down below and engage in dialogue and discussion, and I encourage it. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming, and I want you guys all to go out there and continue to light the world the best way you can. Thank you.